My wife handed me divorce papers. At the launch party, I paid $20 for.
I never imagined the night I helped create would become the scene of my own humiliation. I'm Jake, 42 years old, and I'm the kind of man who built his life from scratch. Grit, long nights, and a stubborn refusal to ever quit. My tech company went from a cluttered basement to a multi-million-dollar empire before most people my age even knew how to manage their inboxes. I always believed that discipline and loyalty were the strongest foundations in life. But I learned they can also be used against you when you trust the wrong person. When I met Sarah, she was in her final year of law school. She was sharp, brilliant, and absolutely determined to reshape the legal world. I was completely captivated not just by her confidence, but by the fire she carried inside her. She would talk for hours about opening a law firm that truly mattered, one that would change people's lives instead of just racking up wins. As a husband, it felt natural to support that dream. I had the money, she had the ambition. It seemed like a perfect match. At least that's what I thought. For 2 years, I financed everything she needed. The office on Madison Avenue with its polished wood and stunning skyline views, the high-end furniture, the cutting-edge computer systems. I funded the recruitment of elite lawyers from well-known firms and paid for marketing campaigns that cost more than most people's cars. All in all, I poured $20 million into making her vision a reality, but I wasn't foolish. I documented every single cent. This wasn't a marital gift. It was a business investment. Every transfer, every agreement, every single clause was recorded with the precision of a man who has survived in business by never, ever leaving loose ends. The launch party for Williams & Cross LLP was supposed to be her moment of triumph. 500 guests filled the grand ballroom. There were judges, senior attorneys, journalists, and influential names from every corner of New York's legal landscape. The whole place sparkled with chandeliers brighter than camera flashes, and the air was thick with that mix of money, ambition, and hidden rivalries. I arrived in my best suit, feeling proud of the empire my wife was stepping into, an empire I helped her build. But even before the disaster struck, a small crack appeared. As I was moving through the crowd, I overheard a young associate whisper to his friend with a mocking grin. The trial husband showed up. I tried to brush it off as a harmless insult, but something inside me tightened. I really should have listened to that instinct. When Sarah stepped up to the podium, she looked like the star of the night. Her hair was perfect, diamonds shimmered under the lights, and confidence just radiated from her. She thanked the room, praised her firm, and spoke about hard work and dreams. For a moment, I felt that pride swell up again. But then she reached into her clutch and pulled out a plain manila envelope. She started walking toward me through the crowd, and every heel click was sharp enough to slice the air. She smiled, but it wasn't the smile of a wife. It was the smile of someone who believes they've completely outplayed you. "Jake," she said, her voice loud enough for the entire ballroom to hear, "you've been so supportive, so generous. And I want the world to know that my firm's very first case is my divorce." The applause that followed was scattered and confused at first, but then it grew. Phones came out. People started whispering. And I just stood there holding divorce papers that were handed to me like some kind of public execution. In that moment, anyone else might have broken. But humiliation can do something strange to a person. It can sharpen you. I calmly folded the envelope, slipped it into my jacket, and walked out without saying a single word. Once I was outside with the cold air brushing against my face, something inside me shifted. I didn't crumble. I actually smiled. Because Sarah and her partner Derek had made one catastrophic error, they completely underestimated me. They thought I was just a walking wallet. They thought they were the predators. They never once realized who they were actually hunting. Back home, I went straight to the safe hidden behind my bookshelf, the one that holds all my real power. Inside were binders filled with every contract, every investment record, every lease agreement, and every clause tied to Williams & Cross LLP. They had no idea how carefully I had structured my investments. Performance clauses, partner rights, breach conditions, and recovery protocols. Sarah treated my funding like a gift. Legally, it was anything but. I opened the firm's online banking system, something Sarah probably assumed I no longer had access to. But I had planned for every possible scenario. Within minutes, I was reviewing their accounts. They had nearly $2 million spread across various business accounts, all ready to be moved. I started small. I paused automatic payments for verification, halted vendor invoices, and disrupted their payroll. I didn't destroy them, not yet. I just sent tremors through their shiny new empire. Then I initiated the nuclear option, my right as the majority funder to withdraw all capital due to a breach of fiduciary responsibility. She served me divorce papers at her firm's launch party, all while using my investment to support her career and based on the whispers I'd heard her affair. That definitely qualified as a breach. I scheduled $20 million to be withdrawn within 48 hours. By Monday morning, chaos hit them like a tsunami. I had 47 missed calls from Sarah, a dozen from Derek. Vendors were demanding payment. Employees were panicking about their missing salaries. And then Sarah's assistant showed up at my apartment, looking like she had just survived a tornado. I gave her a sealed envelope. "Sarah has 24 hours, I said. "This is the only deal she's going to get." When I finally walked into the firm later that week, all the glamour was gone. The partners looked completely exhausted. Derek wasn't even there. Apparently, he was dealing with a mental meltdown. Sarah looked shattered, her power completely stripped away. I placed the contracts on the table in front of them. Dissolution terms, asset recovery, and restructuring documents. Under the new terms, I would take control. The firm would be renamed. She would be downgraded to basic counsel, and Derek? He was terminated permanently with a 5-year non-compete clause. She hesitated, her hands trembling. "If I sign this, I lose everything." "No," I said, looking her straight in the eye. "You lost everything the night you tried to destroy me," she signed. The others quickly followed. But just destroying her wasn't enough. I realized I wanted to do something more meaningful. So I took $10 million and invested it into Phoenix Legal Collective, a small legal aid group that was fighting real battles like wrongful evictions and immigrant rights. They were everything her firm only pretended to be. And with that investment, they grew, they expanded, and they started winning cases that actually changed lives. 6 months later, my life looked completely different. I was lecturing at Columbia Law School, consulting on ethics boards, and dating Rebecca, a brilliant ethics professor who challenged me in ways success never had. My story became a case study not of revenge, but of meticulous planning, careful documentation, and the importance of protecting your investments. As for Sarah, she moved across the country to try and start over. Derek just faded into obscurity, and me? I learned that the best revenge isn't ruining someone. It's building something better than they ever could have imagined, something so strong that their betrayal becomes nothing more than a footnote in the far more powerful story you write afterward. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.